Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wiki Sasquatch channel. In this video, we're going to be reviewing some of the Star Wars The Vintage Collection figures. First of all, we got VC280, which is the Darth Vader from the Death Star 2 that has the removable helmet. And then we have the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show 2-pack, which also has Darth Vader. But this one has the damaged helmet where you can see Hayden Christensen's face through it. So I thought these would be good to do together because we can compare the two. It's probably going to be close to the same figure, I think, with just different heads. And it comes with Obi-Wan Kenobi. So these are called Darth Vader Duel's End and Obi-Wan Kenobi Showdown. Alright, let's go ahead and open these up and look at the individual cards. They're packaged. They have a piece of cardboard, and then they're facing each other with some tissue paper in between. That's how they're packaged. Alright, so they come on unpunched cards because they were, in a box. So they didn't have to be hung up on pegs. There's the figure in the blister bubble there. And this one's VC291. And that's the figures it shows. So I guess it's kind of considered to be part of that wave. And I think that one shows the same ones. This one's VC290. So this one's 280. This one's 291. So we'll see those side by side there. So I think I'm going to open Obi-Wan Kenobi first and get him out of the way, and then we'll open the two Vaders and compare them. Alright. Okay, so he comes with a gun and an unholstered, an unlit lightsaber and a lit lightsaber. And I don't know if you can see that, but look how far up his head actually goes up through the plastic. The plastic's broken. So his feet's like, look how far up high. Look how high up it is, because his head goes up past the top of the bubble here. So that's interesting. I don't know if they're all that way or not, but if you have one that you want to make sure that you have a carded collection, you might want to take it out of that box it comes in and check it out when you get it, because, if you're particular about how your carded collection looks, you might not be happy with one that looks kind of weird that way, but everybody's not as OCD as me, I guess. But that would bug me if I was a carded collector. I wish I had money to be a carded collector. Could get one to open and one to keep carded like I used to back in the day when Power of the Force 2 figures first came out. I would always get two. I get three. I get one to open, one to keep on the card, and one to sell. And then, they still sell for about the same thing they sold for back in 1995. So anyway, see how well that worked. But these I think would hold more value, but I would just like to have one to keep on the card because they look really good. If you had a wall to hang them all on or something. I think it's a Bosch Bounty site. I think he keeps all the vintage ones in the card and has them all on the wall. And it looks really good. There's somebody else I saw, maybe only one Kenobi, maybe. Somebody has, there's several people out there that, you know, carded collectors that have displays of them all lined up on the wall, and they look really good with the pictures and looking like they did back in the day with that vintage look. But all right, so this is his little gun. I'm going to put that in his holster over here. And I put the hilted lightsaber, I put it on the belt. It has a little peg and a hole in the belt that you can put it in. But it's supposed to be the same lightsaber, I believe. So, you know, if he's got it in his hand, you probably take it off his belt, because otherwise he's got two lightsabers. But for purposes of not losing it while I'm doing this review, I'm going to go ahead and stick it on him, even though it won't be film accurate. Alright, so let's see. He's got your regular kind of ball joint knee articulation. He's got the rocker heels, ankles, and they turn. And he can do some good poses. Got good articulation. These are built really well, I think. The vintage collection ones, I'm happy with the quality on these. They're really, I rarely find one that's broken or got some kind of weird, wonky something going on with it out of the box, but they usually have pretty good posability and articulation. Trying to see if I can do a double-handed pose here. His tunic here kind of keeps his arms from going in too much, but this is kind of rubbery a little bit, so it does give a little. This lightsaber hilt seems a little short. It's almost hard to get two hands on it. Okay, there we go. So we got his lightsaber, like he's in a fighting position. He looks a little stiff. Let's try him like he's in that card right there. See if we can get that pose. It's hard to get him in that pose exactly. First of all, his hand doesn't stick out like that. It's got some flex to it. I mean, you can make it stick out like that. But alright, that's probably about as close to that pose as you can get. That's not bad. You can stand up's the tricky part. That's one thing about the vintage collection figures. They're kind of hard to get to stand up on their own. They almost need figure stands, but you can do it. It just takes a little bit more work than the Black Series ones. Okay, so we'll leave him like that. That's kind of the sort of the pose he has on the card there. All right, so now we're going to open the Darth Vader DUEL'S from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Okay, so I got a big old cape there. Look how big that cape is. It's got a hole in it like it got slashed. Oh, cool. And it's kind of like tethered around the edges. That's kind of cool. Shows it's got a little bit more battle damage. Let's see if you can see inside his helmet there. The helmet. Oh, it does. Does it come off? It does come off. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. pretty cool. There's the helmet. That's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that to be able to come off like that. So, let's see. And if you look at his breastplate there, it's also got some damage to it. So, let's set him up here. We'll put a lightsaber in his hand. And he also has the one that's not lit that can go on his belt. So, same thing as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm just going to stick it on there for now, even though he doesn't have two lightsabers. It's just so I don't lose it. And then stand him back here. We'll put him kind of in the same position there that he in on the card there. All right. Okay, and like I said, that's VC 291. And then this one is VC 280, and that's the Darth Vader from the end of Return of the Jedi with the removable helmet also, but it comes off in 3 parts, or 2 parts, I guess, technically. Alright, and he comes with a hilt and a full lightsaber and the 2 parts of the helmet, and he also comes with a damaged hand where the hand's cut off, and you can swap that out with a regular hand. So that's pretty cool. Alright, let's look at his cape. He's got a big cape too. I think it's just the same cape, but without the damage. It's really big. And then let's take a good look at him here. He's got the same battle damaged stuff, but it looks like it's more healed. We'll compare the two in a minute here. Let's go ahead and try him out here though. Test out all these features. So that's what the hand looks like. It's damaged. And you can take that off and put on the regular hand. And this part here is actually a separate piece from the head, so you can, it's not molded to the head. So you can take the head off and take that off too. So it really is 3 pieces technically. You can take it off and make him look like he's not got any of the helmet on. And technically you could take that cape off too and take the head off. So let's look at the helmet. I just want to see if it'll piece together by itself or if it has to be on his head. I think it has to be on his head because it won't hold together. Yeah, the head's going to hold it all together. So let's go ahead and put it back on him here. But yeah, you can take that cape off if you want it to, because it just goes over that peg. So that goes there. Then we put his head back on. And then this part. And then there's the helmet part. So it pieces together really nicely. You can't really tell it's a removable helmet the way they did it. It's well designed. I'm impressed with it. I think this might be my favorite Darth Vader figure to date. Go ahead and put his lightsaber in his hand. Yeah, this is definitely probably my favorite Darth Vader figure to date. Now, let's compare the two here. His helmet's not all the way on. There we go. Let's see if his head comes off and that part's... Yeah, I think it's the same piece. I think it's almost the same. They use a lot of the same pieces, I think. Well, I don't know. His head don't want to pop off. So, I don't know. Okay, it does pop off. Didn't want to break it. Seems like it uses a lot of the same pieces except for maybe the arm that attaches there and the breastplate. But I think a lot of it's the same. Let's look at the differences in the head here. Okay, so this is the one from the Death Star 2. And this is the one from the Duel's End. So yeah, he looks more pale, like he's been in the mask longer. He looks a little older. Got pretty much the same scarring, but the older version looks like it's had more healing. This looks more fleshy and freshly burnt. Which I guess it just happened actually, in that when, I guess that damage from that scene is actually how he got that scar. That was explaining how that he got that scar on his head. So that's kind of cool. I didn't really explain where he got this scar on the other side, but that scene from Obi-Wan Kenobi explains where he got that big scar. And I guess up under his eye too. And this one is healed up because it's been several years, so it looks like an old scar. But I don't think it explains where he got this one on the left side of his head, right side of his head, I guess. His right. Okay, let's piece it all back together before I forget which one's which here. This is the Death Star 2 one. Okay. I think this is definitely my favorite Darth Vader vintage collection figure to date. And go ahead and put his mask back on him. His helmet. That is so cool. Alright, he also has a place for his lightsaber hilt. If he doesn't have his lightsaber lit, he could have it there. Whoop. It doesn't want to stay on. Actually, the one that I put on earlier fell off already. I got them mixed up. So I think they're the same though. They look the same. It falls off real easily, so if a kid's playing with it, they might lose that if they leave it there. These are pretty easy to find. It seems like the Darth Vader 2 ones. or Death Star 2 ones, which is good because I actually ended up with like some extras. I over ordered, I guess, and I got it from like Hasbro Pulse and Entertainment Earth. I think I accidentally ended up getting 2 from one of them. I don't remember which one, but anyway, I ended up with like 3 of these, and I might keep 2 of them. I was going to resell 2 of them, but this being my favorite Darth Vader vintage collection figure to date, I might keep one on the card. I think that is going to be the ultimate vintage collection Darth Vader, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and then, of course, it's got the hand that you chop his hand off. That's what you put on. And then he wouldn't have a lightsaber because his lightsaber went down that ravine. Uh-oh. Alright, now let's put damaged Anakin back together here. And then after that, I have a little surprise for y'all, a little bonus. Because we're kind of focusing on Anakin here a little bit. Thought I'd add a little bonus content. Put that back on. Put that back on. Put his head back on. Alright. And then I'll show you this. Now that I got the light on, you can kind of tell a little better. You can see like the head through the helmet. See his eye there. That's kind of cool. And it might even be better if I adjust his head underneath the helmet a little bit better. It might be line up with the other eye a little better. Yeah, I think that lines up a little better, I think. So there you go. That's pretty cool. That's going to be one of my favorite ones too. It's pretty much the same figure, but that helmet with being able to see him through that, that's kind of cool. But this is definitely the one they should go with from now on, this body. They might as well not even bother redesigning him anymore. Just keep using that anytime they make another iteration of him or something. But I'm going to get him standing on his own here real quick. Oop. Let me know in the comments if you also think this is one of the best ones, if you think it's your favorite, or if you have a different one that's a favorite, and if so, why. I'd like to see what everybody's opinion is. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's got their own opinions and their own reasoning, so in the comments, let me know which one's your favorite Darth Vader so far to date and why. And if this is it, let me know. But to me, that is going to be my #1 Darth Vader figure from here on out. And now for some bonus content. I'll just stack these little bubbles inside each other. You can have like a bunch of these stacked up. I cut them off. I can use them for little trays in the drawer or something to organize with or something. So I use them to organize my little pieces that I'm not using when I'm displaying them and stuff like that. So don't throw away your little bubbles. They come in handy. And you can always recycle them if you are getting rid of them. They go in the same one as the water bottles. Okay. So yesterday I got out and did a little venturing. Somebody said they had some good figures at Ross. And it's like a store chain. I've never been in it, but I saw online where they had some cheap figures, so I went to check it out, and I found some. So here is the Anakin Skywalker Padawan from Attack of the Clones. And it was $3.99. So you can't beat that. That's almost the same price as Kenner figures were in the 80s. I think they were about $3 when I was a kid. So and they were only 5 points of articulation. So that's a pretty good deal. I want to see how easily the sticker comes off, just out of curiosity. See if it damages the card at all. Looks like it's going to come off pretty good without making any mess. Yeah. I was wondering about that for you carded collectors out there. I figured you'd want to know if the price stickers does any damage. But these are removable stickers, it looks like, so they're not doing any permanent damage. They just come off in pieces. You have to pull a little bit at a time. I think they do that so people don't try to swap the price stickers on stuff, because I know Ollie's does that, and Walmart clearance stuff does that sometimes. But, so, got most of it off. There's a little bit. I could probably get it off just by doing that. This is how I usually get the extra residue off. Just take the sticker you already pulled off and just kind of do that a few times. Don't get too aggressive or you'll pull the picture off the card, but usually if you just kind of lightly keep sticking it back on and off like that, you'll get the rest of the residue off. If it's a removable sticker like this. There's different kinds of adhesives. So I think I got it. So for you carded collectors out there, if you're wondering, it comes off pretty good. You don't leave any stain or anything afterwards. So let's open him up in a minute. I'm going to show you something else I got. I also got Phantom Menace, Anakin Skywalker Padawan. So he was also $3.99 at Rise. So I was like, we'll just do a little Anakin theme here since we're doing the different Darth Vaders. And I also got the Obi-Wan Kenobi Retro Darth Vader. Dark Times. It was $3.99. That's less of a good deal considering it's a 5-point of articulation versus a, a super articulated one, but still that's a good deal because I think these were about $11 or $12 originally. This one says 11, but I think they're more like 12. I'm going to see if I can pull this retro sticker off just out of curiosity, since this is a cheaper figure I bought. I hate these retro stickers. I wish they wouldn't put those on there. They already do the damaged look on the corners with the, I mean, you can tell it's not a vintage one, and they didn't even make an Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars. So, I mean, I understand it's a retro figure, but I would rather them print retro down here on the bottom or something on the card than put these stickers, because it's a pain. And they also have these things in there, which obviously the old ones didn't come with that. So, I mean, there's ways to tell these are not actual vintage figures, but I hate these retro stickers. So, just out of curiosity here, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of very lightly pulling the edges up. I did this on a few and they came off pretty good without leaving a mark, and then I did on some other ones and they still left a pretty good bit of residue, and I had to try to clean them off. But some of them came off really good, so I'm just curious about this one. And but I just kind of lightly keep flicking the sides up, not digging into the card, just with my fingernail, just lightly doing that. It's a thing, it takes some patience, but and when you can finally get enough up that you can get a hold of it, you can kind of start peeling it off. Also, when you're doing this, you want to kind of go around. You don't want to just do it like in one little spot. You got to go around enough that you get about halfway, because otherwise when you start pulling it, it's going to rip and you won't get the whole thing. So I always kind of keep doing it until I get about halfway around the circle, and that sometimes it'll help you get it in one piece. Okay, so I got where I can pull on it, but this one's really stuck on good. It's not wanting to cooperate too good. Yeah, this one's going to want to tear. It's not wanting to do good. So Sometimes I use a different kind of glue on these. I think the ones I was able to get off with no problem, although they did kind of leave a little circle. You can kind of tell where they were, because it kind of just lightened the card or something. I guess the adhesive kind of damaged the print on the card or something. But the 6-packs that you can get from like Shop Disney and Hasbro Pulse, it's got the original 12 with the chrome C-3PO and R2-D2. Those came off like, I just did that and I peeled them real slowly off. Had a little bit of residue. I did the sticking back on and off till I got it off, and I got them all off with no problem. The Ben Kenobi one, I damaged it just a little bit, but the other ones peeled right off. What you can do is you get it down to this part, and you can just keep peeling away until you get down to just the sticker residue. You can get some lighter fluid and just kind of let it soak on it, and it'll loosen it up. It just makes the glue kind of quit working, and you can go back and kind of rub on it and get it off. Don't rub too hard or it'll damage the picture, but just kind of lightly rub it with a cotton ball or something until you kind of get it all. It'll kind of look like a booger. It'll just start kind of bunching up, and then you can kind of get it off, and then just kind of put a little bit more on it and wipe it down real smoothly. And it might discolor it at first, but once it dries, it'll look just like it never has a sticker on it. So I was trying to do them without that process, because I don't like putting the lighter fluid on it if I don't have to. But this one I'm going to open anyway. I have another one that I have a whole set of these that's on the card that I'm keeping. So this is not the only one I got, or I probably wouldn't have experimented on it. But I'll probably do another video showing you how to get the sticker all the way off. And I'll do that. I'll show you the other ones I was talking about in that video, because we got pretty good big content in this video already. We got 6 figures. So just check back. I'll do another video on how to get this the rest of the way off, to show you how to do that, and show you those other ones that I got off without having to do that. But like I said, these stickers, some of them are already peeling up. They peel right off. Now, the ones I was talking about that came right off, they did not come off that good, but they came up in one piece. And usually it was just a little bit of, like you can see the circle out here, there was a little bit of that, not this bad, but there was a little bit of that. Most of it peeled off in one piece smoothly though, and it didn't leave anything. And I just kind of had to go back and kind of do that number to get the glue off of that original circle where I start peeling it up, and then it got the rest of it. So but I'll show you that in that other video. So let's go ahead and remove this sticker, just because these don't take too long, and I do keep my cards even though I open them. And go ahead and get this just ready to stick in my stack of cards when I'm done. Like I said, these come right off. They just come off in pieces, so you have to keep pulling a piece off and then pulling a piece off. I think they do that to keep people from trying to swap the price stickers in the store, because you can't pull it off in one piece, and it ruins the sticker. But it doesn't ruin the card, so that's alright. People shouldn't be trying to swap prices in the store. So I think that's a pretty good solution to that problem that retailers have, I guess. But for the most part, it doesn't do any damage to the card, really. We've got a little bit left on there. I'll go back and get a piece of another sticker of some kind and get the rest of that, or just slightly go over it with some Goo Gone or something. All right, so let's start with little baby Anakin here. And actually, I think I may already have this one, but I couldn't remember. I mean, I have a version of this, but I don't have the vintage collection version. And so I didn't do a review on it if I did, because I got it before I start my channel. But I'll use this one for a review regardless. And if I already have this one, then this one will become a custom other Jedi youngling for $3.99. This is, you can get several of these and make you a whole group of Jedi younglings basically. So I might actually go back and see if they got some more now that I think about it. But these make good custom fodder for if you want to do like a little Jedi temple scene or something with some younglings. You just basically swap their heads out or customize that head. Maybe make you some little alien heads or something to go on them. You might want to change the tunic colors just a little bit so they don't all look identical. But, you know, just you can kind of probably dry brush these with some other colors and get a pretty good effect. Or put make little cloaks to go on them or something. Change the cloaks around. Okay, so there's a little baby Anakin there. He's not a baby, but he's about as young as we see him in the Star Wars movies, except for, I guess he was younger at the beginning of that movie, but he's pretty much the same age all the way through. So. Alright, so he has a lightsaber hilt, which is actually longer than the one that came with Darth Vader. The adult Darth Vader, I think. And he has a place he can put it on his side here. So he can put his on his belt there. Or he can put it in the hand lit up. I do prefer that they do the, you know, they used to have them where these would come out and then you'd have the hilt, but then you had to keep up with both of them. And to me, these are not as, they would often get bent at the peg where they go in, and they'd be like the hilt, and then it'd be like some off angle or something. So these kind of stay straighter, I think. And I think how they do it, I think they cast it all in the clear, and then they paint the hilt. So I think you could, if you put that in something to dissolve the paint off, I think it'd all be one clear lightsaber. I'm not sure about that, but I think. Okay, and then he's got his helmet. And let's see. I forget which way it goes. I think like that. Is that how it goes? Do I have it backwards? I think it's right. I guess they can serve double purposes if they want to use it to, they can turn around backwards to kind of use it as a shield to test themselves against this thing without being able to see it. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if that was meant to be that way, but they can serve two purposes. And you can kind of make them go down that way, I guess. I'll leave it in the comments. I don't know how these helmets were meant. I don't remember if it showed that in the movies or not, if they showed them fighting with their eyes covered, but to me it works better with their eyes covered that way. It covers their whole face. So I would think it would be like, we use your helmet this way when we're trying to use the Force to fight something, and this way if you just using it for protection. Alright, then he comes with the little ball, and it does come off the stand, so that's kind of cool. That gives you some opportunities to do other things with it. Put it in a little chest or something. I think Ahsoka had like a whole little closet full on her ship, so you could make some kind of thing and put a bunch in there in the closet if you did that display. Alright, so let's set him back here. And then let's age progress him about 10 years. And see what he looks like in this one. This is the Attack of the Clones. Oh, by the way, That one was VC80. The Anakin, young Anakin. And that was the wave it came with. And I don't know if... I think I saw the Obi-Wan Kenobi also. I might have saw it online. Somebody has the Obi-Wan and the Mace online for pretty cheap. I forgot where. And I've seen the Fennec Shand. You can get her pretty cheap online. I think Entertainment Earth had her for like $6 or something. I saw all of these three, or these four. I saw all these four at Walmart last night, and I'm like, that's weird. I don't know if they found an old case or what, but I hadn't seen Yoda on the pegs in a while. Okay, and while we're looking at it, this one's VC244, so this one's well later. But still, let's see. So I don't guess I did have this one, because I was thinking this was an older one also, but this one's not that old. So I don't think I did have this one. So that was a good deal. I got that for $3.99. So he comes with the hands you can swap out. So he has the robot hand, or the, I guess it's a prosthetic hand. And then you got the hilt and the full lightsaber, and he has a cloak. So let's check him out. I was going to say maybe this one came out at an earlier time and this was a re-release. It seems like I had this figure. Maybe they have a different version, but the number is pretty current. So unless they renumbered him and put him out again with a different number, which I don't think they do that. So in the vintage collection, they have been reboxing stuff from the Black Series, and it's the same issue figure, like Chopper. And they actually put him out again on the Rebels packaging, which makes no sense because he's actually in the Rebels packaging lineup twice on the montage on the sides. And to me, that makes no sense because it's the same figure. It's not like it's a different version of him or something. Okay, so let's look at this. He's got this cloak. I think these are supposed to kind of go down in the front to kind of look like drapes over him or something. I'm not sure. Maybe like that. Some of these cloaks are weird. They don't really look right when you try to use them, but let's see if that'll focus better. Like his hood, it doesn't want to stay over his head. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll get like some, like this right here. You can kind of get a rubber band and make it kind of go into, make it like a belt for it so it stays. And then you can kind of make the hood stay right, a little bit more right. So you can kind of make a belt out of a rubber band or something. Just find a rubber band that's not an obvious rubber band. It's the tricky part. Sometimes you can get stuff that you use for hair, ponytails and stuff, and that looks more natural, like a black elastic or something. All right, so I believe if you cinched it at the waist there, it'd look pretty good with his hood down. But let's go ahead and look at it this way. You could cinch it at the belt line with the hood down. I'm experimenting. That worked pretty good. So you might have to kind of cinch it at the waist. But for the most part, he doesn't really wear that cloak a lot in the movie. So this is mostly what you want. It's him without the cloak. The cloak's sort of like a bonus, I guess, to me. All right, does he have a place for his hilt? Yep. So you can put his hilt on his belt right there. I love that they have the hilts that you can put on the belts. To me, that's just so cool. Because, I mean, they could just make them on there. Because, I mean, I guess they could be like holding their lightsaber without it on. You know, like they're handing it to somebody, or like, this lightsaber is your life. You know, that kind of thing. But most of the time, you see somebody with a lightsaber, they've got it ignited. So, but if they molded it on here, when they had their lightsaber ignited, then they have two lightsabers. So, I like the fact you can remove that if you want to have them posed so it's more screen accurate. And before we put his lightsaber in his hand, let's swap his hand out for the prosthetic hand. Now technically this goes all the way, he's got a prosthetic arm. So this prosthetic goes all the way up his arm, but since he's got a sleeve, you don't see the arm, so they just give you the hand. That hand's pretty flimsy. It's very, very flexible plastic. So if you bent that a lot, it would break. So I think I would put my fingers all the way up to the hilt there to push it in, and then kind of give it a little bit extra, because you can't get all the way in there because of that sleeve. But I would start out putting it in that way and then kind of give it a little extra shove, because that would easily break if you did that a lot. All right, so now we got him post Attack of the Clones with his prosthetic hand there. So I like that, because in my imagination as a kid, I would be like, what happened after Attack of the Clones? You know, I saw the movie. Now I'm using my imagination to make new stories. So, you know, now he's ready to go in that light. But if you did want him to recreate a scene in Attack of the Clones for diorama, or technically before Attack of the Clones, it could be another storyline that you did in your imagination that takes place before the movie, before he lost his hand, then you need this one. So to me, that's pretty creative. And these hold up well to play. I think the vintage collection is like your perfect mix. It's like great for collectors, but also great for kids to play with, because they hold up pretty much. Some of them, you'll lose pieces off of them or something. I mean, a kid's probably going to lose this in about 2 minutes. Unless they're like me, I was like a little OCD. I think I'm on the spectrum, actually. There was no spectrum when I was a kid, but I think I'm like a functional autistic person or something. Anyway, my toys were always like organized. My Darth Vader case, the little door on it had the weapons in it. I mean, and they were all lined up with their little names on there. I mean, I was very anal for a kid. But anyway, a lot of kids aren't that disciplined these days, I don't think, from what I've seen from some of my kids in my family. They just seem kind of like, I actually got a kid in our family a vintage Darth Vader case so he could organize his figures, because he was disorganized. I'm like, okay, I'm going to help this kid get organized. And I bought him a vintage Darth Vader case. And I said, when I was a kid, I had this exact case, and I lined my figures up. And next time I came back, they were like thrown on top of the case, figures everywhere, weapons everywhere. None of them were in the slot. And then they're like, I was like, what? That's not how you organize your figures. And they're like, oh. And then they picked the case up they like crunched it together with all the figures. They were Power of the Force 2 figures mostly. So, you know, they're not going to get broken too easily. But I don't know. It's hard to train a kid to be as anal retentive as I was as a kid, I guess. But anyway, most of your kids, some kids will do fine with vintage collection figures. They do, you know, if they're like me, as I was a kid, I'm sure there's other ones out there. Some kids, they'll lose that in about 2 minutes. The unlit lightsaber, they might not lose this one, or they got 20 of them, but they'll lose these in about 2 minutes. So, you know, I won't say it's the perfect toy as far as for play and for adult collectors to display, but they're well made. They hold up to some playware, which some figures you try to play with them and they're not going to last. Like that Buzzer Classified series, G.I. Joe Classified series I just reviewed. He'll hold up to some play, but they're going to lose those glasses in about 2 seconds because his sunglasses don't stick on his head. They just kind of sit there, and they will break those or lose them. But, you know, the Masters Universe Origins, they're well made for kids and for adult collectors. So I like it when they're both. And so I kind of went off on this little off-topic thing here, but I just wanted to, it's Christmas time. If some of you aren't familiar with stuff, you just come across this channel and you're wondering, hey, my kid likes Star Wars, would this be a good present or something? You know, that's why I was sharing. But yeah, vintage collection figures and Black Series figures, they both hold up pretty well to play and to displaying and stuff. Just, you know, just keep in mind if they come with little things, they might lose them. When they open them, what you can do is you can set them away somewhere. Give them the main parts. Like this one, for example. You know, take the little lightsaber and the hand. They're going to lose that. And give them the basic part there. They may end up losing pieces of the helmet, but at least you still got a figure. It's just Darth Vader without a helmet. But then if they get older and more organized and they're like, man, I wish I hadn't lost that, you can say, hey, I kept all these for you to keep you from losing when you were a kid. And then they can, you know, they might be too old to play with them, but they want to display them. Then they can say, oh, I still got all the pieces. And so that's another way you can do it if you're an adult with some kids that want to play with these. So, I personally don't have any kids myself, but I have kids in my family that are sort of like nephews and nieces and stuff like that. So, okay, this is the retro collection, Darth Vader Dark Times, the Dark Times. And like I said, I'll do another video taking the rest of that off just to show you, but I'm not really worried about this one because this is an extra card. I have one that I'm keeping on the card anyway. So. At first I was buying these and just opening them, and then they'd go on clearance or something, so I'd get like an additional set to keep on the card. But by then the cards were bent up. So what I've been doing is I buy them and I leave them on the card, and then when they go on clearance, I open those up. So I have a nice set. I mean, I would buy 2 of these straight out if they didn't have that stupid sticker on it. And I think there are a lot of people that don't collect these at all that would collect them if they didn't have that stupid sticker. But, you know, Hasbro's just insistent on sticking those stickers on there. And I don't get it. Yes, it's the retro collection. We get that. If you look at the back of the card, it says the Star Wars Retro Collection. So we get it. Right there, retro. Just keep it on the back of the card. You don't need this big red sticker, Hasbro. So if you agree with me on that, leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Something. But, you know, let's send a message to Hasbro. Let's do away with these red stickers because they're a pain in the butt. Okay. Now I got my rant. Let's open this one. Now I believe this is the first vintage style Darth Vader that has a cloth cloak. Actually, I'm positive of it. They've always been the plastic cloaks before. So, since we've already had a Darth Vader in the old style with the plastic look, they gave us a different thing. They did the same thing with the Mandalorian, the first one that came out. He had a plastic cloak, and then they wanted to put him out in another way, so they gave him the cloth cape or whatever. But, which is good. I think it differentiates it. Also, with this Darth Vader, compared to the original vintage 80s Darth Vader, the legs, if you notice, he's got that kind of skirt thing, and it's molded to his legs instead of just being two skinny legs like the original had. So it makes him a lot sturdier, and it makes him stand up a lot easier. So I like that. Like I said, this is not since they're doing it based off of a more current show, I think that's a good mix for I mean, I would play with this as a kid, and I think these would be good to give to kids to play with, because just like our figures in the 80s endured a lot of play, that's going to endure a lot of play right there. Just 5 points articulation, the capes. It might get kind of stringy eventually if they played with it, but the way this one's made, I don't think so. I think it'll hold up pretty good. It might get kind of dirty or get lint stuck to it, but... And let's see if the cape comes off. Yeah. So it's tight enough. It has enough stretch that you can pull it off. So that's cool too, because if you want it to have the cape off, I think I would rather have the cape on if I was playing with it, just because it looks more like Darth Vader. But I mean, you know, depends what's going on in your imagination at the time. And he has a red lightsaber, and it looks like the lightsaber that came with Bespin Luke and the Jedi Knight Luke in the original series, original Kenner line, but it's red. So unlike the original Darth Vader that had the saber that came out of his hand, like the old Luke and Ben Kenobi and all that, this one actually holds a lightsaber. I wish my vintage one did that, because even though they updated Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi and Darth Vader always, even when they re-released it for Return of the Jedi and everything, always had that lightsaber that came out of his arm. So to me, that's better. And it even looks, you know, he can hold it in a more way than it's just a shaft from his arm, an extension of his arm or something. So I wish this was the Darth Vader we had as a kid, actually. This is a good one. For $3.99, buy this one for a kid somewhere. Nothing else, buy it and throw it in the Toys for Tots bin. I mean, some kid out there will appreciate it. But $3.99, you know, that's a cheap, you know, way to donate something to somebody if you want to feel good about yourself this Christmas season. All right, so let's look at them one more time side by side here. Okay, so we got the evolution of Anakin Skywalker here. And I put the retro collection Dark Times Darth Vader there, even though he's not a vintage collection, because that's before he got damaged, and then he got damaged. And then he got undamaged again. And then he got damaged. But anyway, so you got 6 figures reviewed in this video. I know 3 of them were sort of a surprise, but I kind of intended it that way. That's your payoff for staying tuned long enough to see the whole video. And let's look one more time at the 2-pack. You can pretty much put them in the same pose as the box. And see a good battle going on there. I also like the fact that if they're going to do a 2-pack, which, you know, Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader 2-pack, that's just seems like an obvious 2-pack. That's good. I do like the fact that you get an exclusive figure like this versus the one that's the Death Star 2, which is a really good figure, and you shouldn't have to buy a 2-pack to get it and have an extra Obi-Wan every time, because you can use it for different trilogy setups and stuff. You know, original trilogy, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. You can use it for different dioramas and stuff. So, and instead of just giving us just a regular looking Darth Vader again, which we have so many Darth Vaders, I really like the idea that they went the extra bit here and really gave us something new. So overall, I think this is a good 2-pack. I recommend it. It's just cool to me. I like the tattered cape and all that stuff. Even I think they're pretty detailed on the getting the damage down and stuff. So they could have just taken the lazy way out and given us just a regular looking cape on him, or just, you know, not bothered to fix the breastplate so it looks like it's got some damage to it, or just give us a regular helmet. But they gave us the post battle helmet with the Anakin looking through, and the helmet comes off, so you got a full Anakin head under there. So I'm impressed. Good job, Hasbro. I'll give you props on this one. I know I give y'all some flack sometimes, but only where it's deserved. But in this case, yeah, you did a good job. And even on the other figures I reviewed on here, I think I gave you props on all of them. They were all good. So Hasbro gets a thumbs up on this video, and I'll be doing another video soon of some other stuff. I got this one I can't wait to open because it's got the squid head in it. Been waiting to get him opened up. And then you got your other two new gift cards. So all those I'm excited about. But I'm waiting on that one because I'm about to do a video for the vintage Boba Fett's throne room, which I'm going to use for my Jabba the Hutt diorama. And so I've been kind of holding off to kind of do all those together, but hopefully around the beginning of the year I'll be doing a Jabba the Hutt throne room custom. And I actually have one, but I'm going to do a new one because I got that new throne room out now. And so I'll be doing a lot more of these and stuff. I may go ahead and open these in the meantime because I'm excited about them. But I'll be incorporating them into my scenes regardless, and with my cell barge and all that. But in the meantime, I'm about to open some other stuff that I haven't got to yet. I'm going to be reviewing the new R2-D2 and comparing him to some older R2 models, and got some new Ahsoka figures, and I got all the new Ahsoka Black Series figures, so I'll be going over those. Got a lot of G.I. Joe classifieds I got to open. Got some new Ahsoka retro figures to open, and just a bunch of stuff. I'm going to do some Super Mario Brothers stuff. I got this cool Back to the Future. This is old. I thought it was a clock, but it's actually just a display. It has the dates from the movie. It's just a lamp. But anyway, I'll display that. Got this. I think it was about $50 or something, maybe more, on Hasbro Pulse when it first came out. Got that for like $14 on Cyber Monday. So we'll look at that. And and I just got notification that the Dreadnoks Thunder Machine Transformers are shipping, and I got the Transformers Hiss and the Transformers All Striker back there, so we will do all three of those when that arrives. And I've been doing a lot of other videos and trying to get at least one thing up a day, hopefully more. If you would like to wish me a happy 1-year anniversary on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe so you'll get notifications when I post other videos for the stuff I was talking about that's coming up soon. And there's some other links to some other videos I've done lately. And thank you all so much for watching. I wouldn't have this channel without you guys, so I appreciate all my subscribers and viewers so much.